Sugimoto giving that big suck. So, this anime is absolutely insane. I mean, we go from, like, scenes like this to scenes like this, with Tsurumi actually yelling in someone's severed ear. What the hell? Just like, this series, man, it's blowing my mind every week. I mean, to unique villains, to, interesting character quirks and all of that, it's just something that has really been fascinating to watch. And also learning history about Ainu culture is also a plus on top of everything else. So, I mean, just watching this series, it has been definitely an enjoyable ride, and just like this episode is definitely everything I know and love so far from Golden Kamuy. I mean, it had like the first half of the episode becoming very brutal to, chopping ears off, to, seeing how a dude got shot in between the eyes, to seeing, Tanigaki, just standing over basically this dude that got shot, Ogata or whatever, standing over him that got shot and he's like, boner and all that. I'm like, yo, how do we go from scenes like this? And then we go into the second half that teaches us more about historical facts of Ainu culture. Just, it really blows my mind. I just don't know how, Golden Kamuy is able to do it. It's definitely a skilled writer. The writer of this series is definitely skilled to be able to do something quite like that. But okay, so I am very pleased with that the word boner lives on in Tanigaki. Because as I've said already in my previous reviews, I'm a little bit sad that Nihei died. He was a really good character. I felt like he had a lot of potential in the series, and his death, it kind of made me sad. And I'm glad that Tanigaki is kind of carrying along his line or his phrase of boner, and he's like, boner. Even that's basically like a very funny moment for this episode when he shot someone with the one bullet when he trapped them. I'm just like, I'm glad that Nihei's will lives on inside of Tanigaki. Now, speaking of Tanigaki, he had, once again, more focus in this episode, and what he did against Ogata was pretty freaking impressive, to say the least. I mean, this man managed to outsmart the sniper. Now, granted, Tanigaki, he is a skilled hunter. It's been established for a while now that Tanigaki, he knows the mountains. He's good with the mountains. He knows how to traverse them and basically, outsmart someone. And we've already seen this when he was with Nihei. And Ogata was very aware of this fact. He was aware that, Tanigaki did have the advantage. But at the same time, though, he underestimated Tanigaki, thinking he didn't have any form of weapon. And that was his ultimate downfall in the end. And I do like the plan that Tanigaki used against Ogata, and also Nikaido as well, when the man straight up, found this, animal that was, wounded and dead and being used as a meal for a bear, and the bear was trying to hide it. The man dug it up, built a fire, and he made it to where, Ogata and Nikaido would find it, before they would get attacked by a bear. That's pretty savage, I'm not gonna lie. That was definitely an interesting plan, using the wildlife against, the individuals that were chasing Tanigaki. And, I mean, we already know that the wildlife in this area is pretty freaking savage. I mean, we've already seen bears, maul people to death and all of that, and we know the power of them. I mean, even in real life, bears are pretty freaking scary. I mean, if you encounter a bear, they could tear you apart if you're, not lucky or whatever. So, yeah, seeing what happened in this episode with how Nikaido was just pinned to the ground, he was getting bitten and all that, he's like, shoot, but you had Ogata just sitting there watching. He was just debating on what he should do to make sure that, Tanigaki wouldn't find him. I thought that was a really cool element, just to make us wonder if Ogata would have allowed Nikaido to die or not. But okay, so getting a little bit more into that scene, though, basically, once everything is said and done, Tanigaki does win the fight. And Nikaido does get captured by Tsurumi, the lieutenant that leads the 7th Division. And a whole torture scene goes on. And I was just thoroughly surprised with how brutal it was, and how it was shown in this anime. Now, don't get me wrong, we've already seen some brutal stuff that's already been in Golden Kamuy. There has been some censorship as well, but I mean, overall, just seeing how the ears were being chopped off, and you just saw how it was hanging like it was, I'm just like, oh my god, I thought we were actually going to get like a nose chop scene to see a man's nose completely gone, but thankfully that didn't happen, because I think one of the most brutal things to witness, personally to me, when it comes to torture scenes and stuff, is the fingernails. Anything to do with fingernails or stabbing like toothpicks under fingernails, or has something to do with the eyes, and then also the nose getting chopped off. That is definitely some of the most horrific things I think I've ever seen in shows or movies, literature, and stuff. So I'm very thankful I actually didn't see that in this episode. I mean, it would have been nice to see how far the censorship could be pushed, but I'm glad I didn't get to see that because, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of seeing a nose could just completely cut off. Now, speaking of body parts being cut off, though, Nikaido, this man, doesn't blink. He doesn't, say anything while his ears are just getting chopped off. But soon as, Sugimoto is mentioned, this man is willing to spill the beans and throw people under the bus. It just really shows that this man, he doesn't really care about the tattoos, gold, or anything. He just wants to get revenge against Sugimoto. And I find that humanizes Nikaido's character quite a bit, because the brothers, twins, before one of them died, they were kind of crazy, they were psychotic, and the way this episode kind of displays, Nikaido's character, he's not necessarily as crazy as we thought. He is crazy, but he's not just crazy. There's more to his character, which I respect quite a bit, and just seeing how the man was actually very upset, and, he has his brotherly love, and he's sad that his brother's gone, and that is why he wants to get rid of, Sugimoto after what happened. It just shows that this man, he's not persuaded by gold or anything. He just wants to get revenge for, his brother's death. So that's definitely going to play a big part in the future. I think Tsurumi, he knows that Nikaido is someone that definitely wants Sugimoto and he doesn't want the gold, and he could definitely be persuaded and manipulated, and it definitely falls in line with how, the lieutenant is, because he is someone that is a master manipulator. He knows how to get underneath people's skin and, make them do what he wants them to do. So I can definitely see this man just basically manipulating the man because he knows how he is, and once, he's not useful anymore, he'll just get rid of him completely. Probably something like that's gonna happen. But okay. Pretty much once that first half of the episode's done, though, we get more into Ainu culture and set it for, I'm assuming, the end game of Golden Kamuy's anime, and probably even the series, or the first half of the series. So, there is a stunning reveal to Asirpa. So, as we all know, Asirpa's father, we all thought, he was dead. That's what we all were under the impression, and the killer and all that, the one that, had the tattoos and stuff, that made the tattoos and had the gold, we assumed that he was the reason why, Asirpa's father was dead. That's what we knew for a long time now. But with this episode, there was a reveal that the very dude that made all these tattoos has the gold and then, killed off the Ainu, a lot of Ainu and stuff, was actually Asirpa's father. And that was a big reveal. I was completely shocked about that, and it just makes me wonder, why did he do what he did? I mean, why did he kill off the Ainu? There has to be more to the story that we don't understand, but also, why would he throw his own daughter's name under the bus like that? Because, I mean, he's bound to know that these killers and thieves that, he was tattooing, that they would actually hunt after his daughter, if she really is his daughter. So he's putting her in harm's way to potentially get killed. So, that does make me wonder, does he care about his daughter? Was he using her as a cover for something, or is she not related at all, and he's just throwing her under the bus? I really have no idea, but definitely something is going on when it comes to that. I don't truly believe the story at this moment. I believe there's more to it that we don't understand. But speaking of not trust, there is also a new character that is introduced that does, save the Escape King in this episode, when he kind of, becomes a mermaid, and I don't know how to really peg the dude. I don't know if he's actually a good or a bad dude, because, I mean, the way the episode depicts him, you can see that Sugimoto, he's definitely picking up on things that seem rather off or suspicious. I mean, the man was constantly holding his gun or quick to ready to stab or shoot this man if he tried anything funny, and so it's very apparent that Sugimoto doesn't trust him, even before he said anything later on in the episode, and I do wonder if the dude is a good guy or not. Is he going to be a permanent addition to our group, or is he going to betray them, or is he even telling the whole truth to Asirpa? Because for all we know, this man could legit be maybe a tattoo guy, or he could be affiliated with the dude in prison, and then knows Asirpa and all that, and her connection to her father, and it's like a big story he's saying or feeding just so he can get what he wants. I just feel like there's more going on there. There's definitely an ulterior motive that is not being mentioned, but only time will tell and let us know what is really going on. But that's pretty much about it when it comes to this week's episode of Golden Kamuy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Did you enjoy this week's episode? Did you hate this week's episode? Please be honest in the comments below. And if you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, I love you guys. Chibi out.